Hey guys, tonight we are going to journey back to the heart of the Mexica Empire, to the magnificent island city of Tenochtitlan. We're going to step into the sandals of someone who is about to be given the empire's greatest honor, a year of being treated as a living god on earth, culminating in a final sacred act to keep the cosmos in balance. It is a terrifying, sublime, and deeply misunderstood part of human history. And let's be honest, given the final step of this particular career path, it's a role you probably wouldn't want to volunteer for on your next performance review. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. It's always nice to know people are out there listening. Go ahead and post where you're listening from and what time it is. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first light to touch your eyes is not the sun. It's a soft, gray luminescence filtering through the doorway of your single-room home, a pale announcement that the night is over. You lie on your woven reed mat, a petlotl, and for a moment, the world is just the gentle rhythm of breathing. Beside you, your wife stirs, a quiet sigh in the cool air. On the other side of the room, your two children are still curled together, their small forms rising and falling in the deep, untroubled sleep of the young. The air smells of damp earth, the lingering wood smoke from last night's hearth, and the faint, ever-present scent of the lake that is your world. You sit up, the rough weave of your cotton tunic, your tilmat lee, a familiar texture against your skin. There is no grand awakening here, no blaring alarm. There is only the slow, natural turning of the world from the domain of the night gods to the realm of the sun. A transition you feel in your very bones. You are a creature of this rhythm, your life measured by the sun's journey across the sky. Your home is simple, made of sun-dried adobe bricks, sturdy and cool. It's part of your kalpuli, your neighborhood, a cluster of homes and families bound by kinship and trade. You are not a noble, nor a priest, nor a great warrior. You are an artisan, a man who speaks with his hands, and your world is one of manageable, predictable repetition. And you are content with that. Swinging your legs off the mat, your feet find the cool, packed earth floor. You move quietly, not wanting to wake the others just yet. You step outside into the small, enclosed patio that separates your home from the street. The air is crisp, carrying the morning mist that rises from the vast Lake Texcoco. Above, the stars are beginning to fade, but the morning star, Xolotl, the twin of Quetzalcoatl, burns with a fierce, final brightness. You look up at it, a silent acknowledgement. The gods are everywhere in the sky, the water, the fire, the very maize you eat. To ignore them is to invite chaos. Your street is not a street in the way someone from another time might imagine it. It is a raised pathway of packed earth alongside a narrow canal. The true avenues of Tenochtitlan are water. You can hear it already. The first gentle splashes of paddles as early morning fishermen and farmers in their canoes. Their akal begin to move through the city's liquid veins. This city is an impossible marvel, an entire metropolis built on a man-made island in the middle of a lake, connected to the mainland by 3 massive stone causeways. To you, it is simply home. You see the chinampas, the so-called floating gardens, on the edge of your district. They are not truly floating, but rather dense, fertile rectangles of mud and reeds reclaimed from the shallow lakebed, anchored by willow trees. They are the reason a city of over 200,000 people can eat. It's the most successful and ambitious hydroponics project in history, though you just call it farming. You take a gourd and scoop cool water from the large clay pot in your patio, splashing it on your face. The water is fresh, brought into the city by the massive stone aqueduct from the springs at Chapultepec. It's a feat of engineering that keeps your city clean and healthy. You run your wet hands through your thick, black hair, worn just past your shoulders. You are a man in your prime. 24 years old, strong from your work. Your skin the color of rich earth, unmarred by disease or major injury. You are, by any standard, healthy. You take this for granted, as the young and healthy often do. Inside, your wife is now awake. Her movements soft as she coaxes the embers in the hearth back to life. The hearth is the heart of the home, a space defined by 3 stones, a symbolic navel of your small universe. She adds a few pieces of wood, and soon, a small, controlled fire is crackling, casting a warm, flickering orange light against the adobe walls. The smell of burning mesquite joins the morning air. She smiles at you, a silent greeting that speaks of years of shared mornings. You don't need words. Breakfast is simple and nourishing. She hands you a warm clay bowl of atole, a thick, comforting porridge made from ground maize, sweetened with a little agave nectar and flavored with vanilla. It coats your stomach, chasing away the last of the night's chill. While you eat, she is already at the metate, the grinding stone that is the essential tool of every Mexica household. With a stone roller, the mano, she begins to grind maize that has been soaked overnight in lime water, a process called nixtamalization. It's a bit of chemical genius that unlocks the nutrients in the corn and makes it easier to digest. Without it, a civilization based on maize would suffer from malnutrition. You don't know the science of it. You only know that this is how it has always been done. This is how you make the masa, the dough for the tortillas that will be your meal for the rest of the day. The rhythmic, scraping sound of stone on stone is the city's true heartbeat. Your children are awake now, and the small house fills with their chatter. You finish your atoll and give your wife a nod. It's time for work. You wrap a few warm, freshly made tortillas in a clean cloth and tuck them into a small bag. You kiss your wife, touch the heads of your children, and step out of your home, turning towards the heart of the city. The canals are busier now, canoes laden with produce, bright orange squashes, deep green beans, vibrant red tomatoes glide past, paddled by farmers heading to the great market at Tlatelolco. You walk along the raised path, exchanging greetings with your neighbors. The air is a symphony of sounds, the calls of vendors announcing their wares, the barking of the small, hairless, Solitzkuntli dogs, kept as pets and sometimes as a source of food, the laughter of children playing, and underneath it all, the distant, rhythmic boom of a drum from the direction of the great temple, the Templo Mayor. The sound is a constant reminder of the sacred precinct, the massive walled complex at the center of the city that is the center of your universe. Your walk to your workshop takes you past the homes of other artisans. You see the vibrant colors of the feather workers, meticulously tying the iridescent plumage of quetzals and hummingbirds onto shields and cloaks. You smell the sweet scent of copal incense wafting from the home of a priest. You pass a warrior, a member of the elite eagle or jaguar orders, his bearing proud and imposing, his earlobes and nose adorned with precious jewels. You give him a respectful nod. It is these men who expand the empire, who bring back the tribute, the goods, the food, the captives that allows Tenochtitlan to thrive. You are a part of this great organism, a single cell in a vast, complex body. Historians still debate just how much social mobility an artisan like you truly had. Could your son, with enough talent and fortune, really become a priest or a decorated warrior? Or was he, like most, destined to follow in your footsteps? His future already etched in the lines of his birth? You look at the warrior and feel a mix of awe and distance. His path is one of glory and blood. Yours is one of stone and patience. You finally arrive at your workshop, a space you share with your father and 2 uncles. You are a Tlaxinqui, an obsidian worker. Your family is known for its skill in shaping the volcanic glass that is the most important substance in your world. It is used for everything. The sharpest razors, the most precise surgical tools, the sacrificial knives of the priests, and the lethally sharp edges of the macuahuitl, the wooden club that is the primary weapon of the Mexica warrior. Metal is scarce, used mostly for ornamentation. Obsidian is what gives the empire its edge, both literally and figuratively. Your father is already there, his face a mask of concentration as he works on a large core of the black glass. He grunts a greeting. You take your position on a low stool, pick up your tools, a deer antler, a wooden pressure flaker, and select a piece of obsidian. It's cool and smooth to the touch, its blackness so deep it seems to drink the light. You hold it up, examining it for flaws. This particular obsidian comes from the mines near Pachuca, its quality renowned throughout the empire. It has a faint, almost invisible green sheen when it catches the light just right. Your work begins. It is a process of controlled violence. You strike the core with the antler, a sharp, percussive crack echoing in the small workshop. A large flake shears off. This is the first step. The next is more delicate. You use the pressure flaker, applying precise force to the edge of the flake. Tiny, paper-thin slivers of obsidian fly off, each one sharper than any steel razor could ever be. It's a dangerous craft. A moment of inattention, a slip of the hand, and you can open a wound that bleeds for a dangerously long time. Your hands and forearms are a roadmap of small, silvery scars, a testament to your long apprenticeship. You are making a set of razor-sharp blades, likely to be embedded in a warrior's club. You work with a quiet rhythm, your mind entering a state of deep focus. The outside world melts away. There is only you, the stone, and the image in your mind of the perfect blade. This is your art. You are not just chipping away at a rock. You are revealing the form that sleeps within it. It's a bit like being a programmer, you suppose? Except your code is written in stone, and a syntax error could cost you a finger. At midday, you pause. You unwrap your tortillas and eat them slowly, watching the life of the city move past your workshop's open front. A procession of priests walks by, their long hair matted with dried blood from self-sacrifice, their black-painted bodies exuding an aura of immense power and dread. You lower your gaze respectfully as they pass. Their lives are dedicated to negotiating with the gods, a terrifying and necessary burden. Unknown to you, one of these priests, a man of high rank, had paused earlier in the day, his gaze lingering on you as you walked to work. He was not looking at your face, but at your form. He noted the unblemished skin, the straightness of your limbs, the fluid grace of your movements. He saw the health and vitality that radiated from you. He was a scout, a talent spotter, but not for the army or the priesthood. He was looking for perfection, a vessel worthy of a god. He made a quiet mental note. Your face, your build, the location of your kalpuli. And then he moved on. His face an impassive mask. You noticed nothing. Perhaps you felt a momentary shiver, the kind you feel when a cloud passes over the sun. But you dismissed it and continued on your way. After your meal, you go to the market to trade some of your finished blades for other necessities. You don't need to go to the great market at Tlatelolco for this. Your local kalpuli market is sufficient. It's a vibrant, chaotic, wonderful place. You navigate the crowded aisles, the air thick with the smell of grilling meat, sweet flowers, and humanity. You see a woman selling vibrant red cloth. The color is astonishingly bright, a deep, true crimson. It's dyed with cochineal, a tiny insect that lives on the nopal cactus. It takes thousands of them to make a small amount of dye, making it one of the most valuable products in the empire. You find the merchant you're looking for and trade a set of 10 obsidian blades for a large sack of cocoa beans. These beans are another form of currency. For small, everyday transactions, they are more convenient than the alternative, which is bartering your specific craft for, say, a basket of avocados. It's much easier to agree that a turkey is worth 100 beans. You then take a few of your new beans and buy your children a small treat, a piece of fruit covered in honey and crushed amaranth seeds. A little bit of sweetness to take home. It's the Aztec equivalent of getting paid and immediately spending a little on something frivolous for the family. You return to the workshop for the afternoon's work. The sun is high and hot now, beating down on the white plastered walls of the city. The work is tiring, your shoulders and back aching from hunching over the stone. But it is a good ache, the feeling of a day well spent. As the sun begins its descent towards the western horizon, casting long shadows across the city, you and your father and uncles begin to clean the workshop, sweeping up the thousands of tiny, sharp flakes of obsidian, walking home as you're tired but satisfied. The city is preparing for the night. The smell of cooking fires is everywhere. The drums from the Templo Mayor have a deeper, more resonant sound in the evening air. You arrive home to find your wife has prepared a stew of beans and squash, served with more warm tortillas. You give your children the sweet treat you bought, and they devour it with glee. You sit with your family as the darkness gathers, listening to your son recount his day of playing Patoli, a board game, with his friends. It is a moment of perfect, simple peace. Later, as you lie on your mat, the city quiets down. The bustling sounds of the day are replaced by the gentle lapping of water in the canals, the chirping of crickets, and the distant hoot of an owl. You feel the warmth of your wife beside you, the security of your home around you. You are safe. You are content. Your life has a clear and understandable shape. Tomorrow, you will wake up and do it all again. You close your eyes, your mind untroubled by fear or doubt. You drift off to sleep, completely unaware that the gears of a sacred, terrifying machine have just clicked into place, and that your name, your face, and your perfect form are now the subject of a very important conversation in the highest chambers of the Templo Mayor. Your ordinary life has just ended. You simply don't know it yet. A handful of days pass, each one a near-perfect echo of the last. You wake to the gray light, you eat your atoll, you walk the familiar paths to the workshop. The obsidian remains your silent partner. You are currently working a particularly fine piece, one with that faint green sheen you favor, shaping it into a ceremonial dagger, the kind a high-ranking priest might use. You admire the symmetry of it, the lethal elegance. Your hands know this work so well that your mind is free to drift. You think about your son, about whether he has the patience for this craft, or if his spirit is too restless. You think about the feast of the neighborhood god next month and the special foods your wife will prepare. These small domestic thoughts are the threads that weave the fabric of your life. It is a strong, tightly woven fabric. You cannot imagine it ever tearing. It begins not with a sound, but with a sudden absence of it. The cheerful din of the kalpuli, the shouting vendors, the laughing children, the rhythmic scrape of your uncle's tools, it all just fades. It's like plunging your head underwater. The sounds become muted, distant. A strange quiet settles over your street, a quiet filled with a nervous, electric energy. You look up from your work, the obsidian dagger suddenly feeling clumsy in your grasp. Your father has frozen, his hand hovering over a stone core. Then you see them. Turning the corner at the end of the canal path, a slow-moving procession. Your breath catches in your throat. Priests, not the low-level acolytes you see every day, but high priests from the sacred precinct. There are 5 of them, walking with a deliberate, unhurried pace that speaks of absolute authority. Their presence changes the very air, making it thick and heavy. It's the ancient equivalent of seeing a fleet of black, unmarked vehicles roll slowly into your quiet suburban neighborhood. You know, instinctively, that this is not a social call. They are terrifyingly magnificent. Their bodies are painted a stark, ritual black, a color that seems to absorb the cheerful morning light. Their long hair, never cut, is thick and matted with dried blood from countless acts of self-sacrifice. It hangs down their backs like a tangled rope, a visible record of their piety. Their earlobes are shredded and torn from the obsidian blades and agave thorns they regularly pass through them. They are walking conduits to the divine, men who traffic in blood and visions, and their power is palpable. The only color on them comes from their loincloths and the intricate jade and turquoise plugs adorning their noses and lower lips. The lead priest wears a cloak of shimmering black feathers that seem to shift and writhe like living smoke. The sweet, heavy scent of copal incense, burned in vast quantities in the temples, clings to them like a shroud. As they proceed down your path, people shrink back. Doors are pulled shut. Mothers snatch their children from the street. Your neighbors peek from behind their doorways, their faces a mixture of fear and awe. The priests ignore them all. Their eyes are fixed forward, their destination absolute. Your heart begins a low, heavy drumming against your ribs. They are coming here. The thought is impossible, yet undeniable. They stop directly in front of your family's workshop. The 5 of them stand there, silent, creating a wall of black-robed authority between you and the rest of your world. The lead priest, a man whose face is a mask of ancient, unyielding lines, raises a single hand. He doesn't look at your father or your uncles. He looks directly at you. His eyes, dark and piercing, seem to see past your skin, past your flesh, weighing the very essence of your soul. He points a single black-painted finger, extended with the finality of a death sentence. A collective gasp ripples through the hidden onlookers. Your own throat is too tight to make a sound. 2 of the junior priests detach from the group and enter your workshop. They move with a fluid, unnerving grace. They do not touch you roughly, but their hands on your arms are firm, their grip irresistible. They guide you out of the cool dimness of the workshop and into the full, unfiltered sunlight. You blink, disoriented. They position you in the center of the path, directly before the high priest. The world seems to tilt on its axis. You are the center of a silent, terrifying vortex. The high priest begins to circle you, slowly, deliberately. It's the most intense and humiliating moment of your life. He is not seeing you, the artisan, the husband, the father. He is seeing a potential vessel, an object. He lifts your hands, turning them over, examining your palms and fingers. He is looking for scars, calluses, any sign of imperfection beyond the expected marks of your trade. He runs a finger along your jawline. He pulls back your lips to inspect your teeth, his own face so close you can smell the metallic scent of dried blood on his breath. The entire process feels like a particularly invasive job interview for a position you never applied for. And the physical examination portion is far more thorough than you're comfortable with. He moves behind you, gripping your shoulders, his touch cold and dry like ancient parchment. He is assessing the breadth of your back, the strength in your muscles. He pushes on your legs, testing your stance. You feel less like a man and more like a prize beast being inspected at a fair. Your worth reduced to the quality of your flesh and bone. You meet your father's eyes over the priest's shoulder. His face is pale, his expression unreadable, a storm of pride, fear, and utter helplessness. Your obsidian dagger, the one you were just crafting with such care, lies forgotten on the ground, a useless toy. You remember the fleeting chill you felt days ago, the sense of being watched. It wasn't your imagination. You have been scouted. You have been vetted. This is the final selection. After an eternity, the priest completes his circle and stands before you once more. The silence stretches, thin and taut. Then he speaks. His voice is a dry rasp, like stones being scraped together. It is not a voice used for idle chatter. It is a voice for incantations, for pronouncements. You are flawless, he says. And the words carry no warmth, no praise. They are a statement of fact. The great Tezcatlipoca, Lord of the Smoking Mirror, he by whom we live has chosen you. You will be his Tixiptla, his image, his vessel on this earth. The name hits you like a physical blow. Tezcatlipoca, the trickster, the sorcerer, the Lord of Fate, capricious and all-powerful. Every child knows the stories of Tezcatlipoca. He is the god of the night sky, the jaguar, the patron of warriors and kings, the eternal rival of the benevolent Quetzalcoatl. His honor is the greatest, and his nature the most terrifying. From the doorway of your home, your wife lets out a strangled cry, a sound of pure, unadulterated grief. One of your uncles quickly puts a hand on her shoulder, silencing her. Such an outburst is inappropriate. This is an honor, a terrible, soul-crushing honor. Your neighbors begin to murmur, the words Tezcatlipoca and Texiptla passing from lip to lip like a contagion. You can feel their awe, their pity. Your family has been elevated, touched by the gods, and you have been condemned. Historians still debate whether families received any material compensation or social status for offering a child to this fate, or if the honor was truly its own and only reward. Looking at your father's stricken face, you suspect it is the latter. There is no joy here, only a stunned, terrible reverence. The priest continues, his voice devoid of emotion. You will live as the god for 1 full year. You will want for nothing. You will be adorned in gold and feathers. You will be taught the flute and the courtly manner of the nobility. At the great feast of Toxcotl, your purpose will be fulfilled. He doesn't need to explain what that purpose is. Every person in the empire knows how the story of the Tixiptla of Tezcatlipoca ends. At the height of the festival, after a year of being worshipped, you will willingly ascend the steps of a temple and offer your heart to the god you have impersonated. This is the deal. A year of heaven on earth in exchange for a perfect death. It's a contract with no negotiation phase, managed by a divine human resources department that doesn't accept appeals. The reality of it crashes down on you. Your life, your real life, is over. It was severed the moment that black-painted finger pointed at you. You will never again share a meal with your family in your humble adobe home. You will never teach your son how to work obsidian. You will never grow old with your wife. A chasm has opened between you and everything you have ever known and loved. One of the junior priests steps forward with a garland of cempasúchil, the bright orange Aztec marigolds. the flower of the dead. He places it around your neck. The petals are soft, their scent pungent and funereal. It is the uniform of your new station. You are now marked. You belong to the gods. You are not permitted to say goodbye. There are no tearful farewells, no final embraces. The ceremony is clean, absolute. The high priest turns, and you are expected to follow. The attendant's hands on your arms guide you forward, leaving your family, your workshop, your entire world behind. You take one last look over your shoulder. Your father has not moved. He looks like he has been carved from the same stone as the temples. Your uncles stand beside him, their heads bowed, and your wife. She is holding your two children, her face buried in their hair, her body shaking with silent sobs. Your son peeks out from the safety of her arms, his small face a portrait of utter confusion, watching his father being led away by dark, silent men. You turn away. You cannot bear to look any longer. You walk, placing one foot in front of the other, your legs feeling numb and disconnected from your body. The procession moves away from your kalpuli, towards the gleaming, whitewashed heart of the city, towards the towering pyramids of the sacred precinct. The garland around your neck feels impossibly heavy, each soft petal a weight of destiny. The honor is terrifying. The terror is absolute. You are no longer an artisan who shapes stone. You are now the stone, waiting to be shaped for a divine and final purpose. The journey to the sacred precinct is a blur of overwhelming sensations. You are swept along in the silent, black-robed bubble of the priest's procession. The everyday sounds of the city, which just hours ago formed the entire symphony of your existence, now seem a world away. People stop and stare, their faces a mixture of reverence and fear. They are not looking at you, the artisan. They are looking at the living vessel of Tezcatlipoca. You are no longer a person, but a symbol walking through the streets. The weight of 1,000 pairs of eyes presses down on you. You pass through a massive gateway in the Codapantli, the serpent wall that surrounds the sacred heart of Tenochtitlan. The moment you cross the threshold, the scale of the world shifts. Everything is bigger, grander, and infinitely more intimidating. The two great pyramids of the Templo Mayor dominate the sky, their twin temples at the top seeming to scrape against the clouds. One is dedicated to Huitzilopochtli, the god of war and sun, its steps stained a dark, ominous red. The other, dedicated to Tlaloc, the god of rain, is painted a brilliant blue and white. All around are other temples, priestly quarters, and skull-racked Tzompantli, displaying thousands of human skulls in a neat, orderly, and horrifying testament to the god's appetite. The air here is different, thick with the constant cloying smell of copal incense and the faint, coppery tang of old blood. It is the smell of power. You are not taken to one of the great pyramids, but to a smaller yet still magnificent temple complex set aside for your specific purpose. You are led into a stone chamber, cool and dim after the bright sun. The priests who flank you finally release your arms. Your old life, your rough-spun tilmatli and simple sandals, feels 1,000 miles away. What follows is a complete and total dismantling of your former self. It's the Aztec version of an extreme makeover show. But instead of a new wardrobe and a haircut, you're getting a whole new identity. You are ordered to undress. Your simple clothes, the ones your wife wove, are not folded, but cut from your body with an obsidian knife and discarded in a corner. They are relics of a life that no longer exists. You are then led to a stone bath and submerged in cool, clean water. Servants scrub you with fibrous sponges and soap made from the yucca root, their touch vigorous and impersonal. They wash the workshop dust from your skin, the scent of your home from your hair, the very memory of your past from your pores. It is a purification that feels like an erasure. When you emerge clean and shivering, you are not given a simple towel. You are wrapped in soft, warm cotton blankets. And then the transformation begins. They dress you not as a man, but as a god. First, a loincloth of the finest white cotton, its edges intricately embroidered with geometric symbols in black and red. Next, a cloak, a tilmatli of staggering beauty. It is not woven from thread, but is a delicate netting onto which thousands of tiny, shimmering feathers have been tied. The iridescent green of the quetzal, the vibrant blue of the cotinga, the fiery orange of the oriole. The cloak shifts and glimmers with your every movement, a living skin of captured light. You remember the feather workers in your old Kalpuli, and a wave of understanding washes over you. This is where their finest work goes. This is the ultimate purpose of their art. They clasp heavy gold bracelets, embossed with skulls, onto your wrists and ankles. A broad collar of jade beads and gold pendants is settled around your neck, its weight a constant, cool pressure on your collarbones. Your long hair, which you used to simply tie back, is now expertly combed and styled by an attendant, who weaves polished shells and fine feathers into the black strands. Finally, they hand you an obsidian mirror, not a rough functional piece like the ones in your workshop, but a perfect polished disc, its surface as smooth and dark as a pool of water at midnight. You raise it, and the man who stares back is a stranger. His face is yours, but it is framed by an impossible opulence. His eyes, wide with a mixture of fear and wonder, are the only familiar thing in the reflection. The rest is a costume, a mask, an effigy. You are the idol, and you are alive. And your new home is a suite of rooms befitting this new status. There are no adobe walls here. The stone walls are plastered and painted with intricate murals depicting the deeds of Tezcatlipoca, the god descending from the heavens on a rope of spider silk, the god transforming into a jaguar to devour giants, the god locked in eternal struggle with Quetzalcoatl. The floors are covered with fine reed mats and the soft pelts of jaguars. There are low stools carved from rich, dark wood, and cotton blankets of a softness you have never imagined. Every day, servants place arrangements of fresh, fragrant flowers in every corner. The air is always sweet with their scent and the smoke of the highest quality copal. Your life is now governed by a retinue of attendants. 2 young priests are assigned as your personal tutors and guides. They are your primary companions, tasked with your education. Beyond them are 8 servants, 4 men and 4 women, who exist only to fulfill your needs. You do not need to ask for anything. If you shiver, a blanket is draped over your shoulders. If you look thirsty, a cup of cool water appears in your hand. If you seem weary, a soft seat is brought to you. They move with a silent, ghostly efficiency, never making eye contact, always addressing you with the honorific "my lord." It's like having a team of the world's most attentive personal assistants. If those assistants also believed you were a literal deity temporarily gracing them with your presence. The food is the most immediate and shocking change. Your diet as an artisan was maize, beans, squash, and the occasional fish or fowl. Now you eat like the emperor, Moctezuma himself. Your first meal is a feast laid out on fine, painted ceramic plates. There is roasted turkey, its skin crisp and golden. There is venison cooked in a rich, dark sauce made from ground chilies and seeds. There are tamales stuffed with rabbit meat, and fish pulled from the sweet waters of the lake, steamed in fragrant herbs. The sheer variety is dizzying. It's not just a meal upgrade, it's like going from eating scraps in a back alley to having a permanent reservation at the most exclusive restaurant in the empire. And then comes the drink. Xocolotl. You had heard of it, of course. The bitter, precious drink of the nobility. Now it is served to you after every meal. A servant whisks the ground cocoa with water in a deep gourd until a thick, rich foam rises to the top. It is flavored not with sugar, but with vanilla, chili, and other spices. The taste is intense, complex, and overwhelmingly adult. It is the taste of power. To drink it is to consume liquid wealth. But your life is not one of pure, idle luxury. There is a purpose to this year, and that purpose requires training. You are an actor preparing for the role of a lifetime and the very last role of your life. Your education begins the very next day. One of the priests presents you with a clay flute, a beautiful instrument with 4 holes. Your first attempts to play it are pathetic. You blow and produce only airy, discordant squawks. The priest is endlessly patient. He shows you how to hold it, how to purse your lips, how to cover the holes to produce different notes. The Lord Tezcatlipoca is a master of music, he says softly. His flute song can charm, deceive, and captivate. You must learn to play as he would. Then come the lessons in speech. You grew up speaking the common Nahuatl of the city. Now you must learn Tecpilatoli, the elegant, formal dialect of the nobility. Your speech must be soft, your words carefully chosen. You are taught poetry, riddles, and the grand histories of the gods. You must not speak like an artisan, you must speak like a lord. As part of this, you are given copalxocotl, a sticky resin from a tree, to chew. It cleans your teeth and sweetens your breath, another small but crucial marker of your elevated status. Days bleed into weeks. A strange routine forms. You wake not to the sun, but to servants gently rousing you. You are bathed and dressed. You eat a feast for breakfast. You have your lessons flute, speech, deportment. You are taught how to walk with a slow, dignified glide, how to sit, how to gesture. In the afternoons, you are left to your own devices in your gilded cage, attended by your silent servants. You can eat, you can sleep, you can practice your flute. There are no demands on you, save one: you must become Tezcatlipoca. Historians still debate how the Tixiptla psychologically processed this year. Did they embrace the role, becoming true method actors who eventually believed their own divinity? Or did they live in a state of constant, terrified dissociation? A prisoner watching a play unfold with their own body as the lead actor. For you, it is a confusing mixture of both. There are moments of pure, paralyzing terror, usually in the dead of night, when the silence of the temple complex feels like a tomb. You lie on your jaguar skins, the gold on your wrists feeling cold and heavy like shackles, and you see your wife's face, your children's confused eyes. The grief is a physical thing, a stone in your chest. But there are other moments, when you taste a particularly delicious fruit, or when a melody finally flows correctly from your flute. A strange, seductive pleasure takes hold. The constant reverence is intoxicating. The power, though illusory, feels real. When you walk through the temple gardens and everyone, from priests to nobles, bows their head and lowers their gaze, it is hard not to feel a sliver of the godhood you are meant to be portraying. You practice the flute endlessly, the simple, repetitive task a refuge for your fractured mind. You think of your old life, your hands calloused from shaping obsidian. These new hands, soft and unblemished, are learning to shape sound instead. The contrast is a constant, quiet hum beneath the surface of your new reality. One evening, weeks into your new life, you look into the obsidian mirror again. You have just been dressed for the evening meal, a particularly magnificent cloak of black and white feathers draped over your shoulders. Your hair is adorned with eagle down. You raise the flute to your lips and play a short, haunting melody, one you have finally mastered. The tune hangs in the air of the silent, incense-filled room. You stare at the reflection, at the ornate figure holding the flute, and for the first time, the stranger looking back feels a little less strange. A terrifying thought flickers through your mind: you are getting good at this. Months have now passed. The initial shock, the dizzying intoxication of your new life, has settled into a strange, monotonous rhythm. The sun rises and sets, but you barely notice. Your world is one of cool stone corridors, manicured gardens, and incense-heavy air. You have become proficient with the flute. Your fingers, once calloused and strong from shaping stone, are now nimble and soft, dancing over the clay holes to produce melodies of haunting beauty. You have learned to speak the language of nobles, your words flowing with a practiced, liquid grace. The feasts have lost their novelty, the rich food now just sustenance for a body that is no longer truly yours. The luxury has become your wallpaper, so present that you almost cease to see it. And in this calm, this acclimatization, the shadows begin to emerge. It starts with a simple, idle curiosity. One afternoon, instead of turning left towards the garden where your chocolate is always served, you turn right, down a long, sun-dappled colonnade you have never explored. It looks peaceful. You are simply walking. You have taken no more than 10 steps when a servant materializes from a doorway you hadn't even noticed was there. He moves with that silent, unnerving speed you are now used to. But it feels different this time. He prostrates himself on the stone floor before you. "My lord," he says, his voice a low murmur that doesn't carry. "Forgive my impertinence. Your afternoon refreshment is prepared in the western garden. The air is sweeter there today." His words are a suggestion, but his tone, and his body blocking the path forward, make it a command wrapped in the silken cloth of reverence. There is no threat, no force, But the message is absolute. You cannot go this way. You pause, the unspoken command hanging in the air between you. You could, in theory, step over him. You are a god, are you not? But you know with a sudden, chilling certainty that it would not be allowed. More servants or priests would materialize. The resistance would grow. Still polite, still reverent, but impossibly firm. You are a king on a chessboard, able to move only to pre-approved squares, with a serene, practiced smile that doesn't reach your eyes. You turn and walk towards the western garden. Historians still debate the exact nature of the Teixepla's freedom. Was it an open-air prison with invisible walls of piety? Or were there literal guards and locked doors at night? As you sip your chocolate in the sweeter air of the garden, you realize the distinction is meaningless. The walls are invisible, but they are as real and as hard as any stone. With this new awareness, you begin to see things differently. You start to watch the watchers. Your 8 servants are not merely attendants, they are sentinels. Their deference is a form of surveillance. When you sleep, one is always awake, sitting silently in the corner of your chamber, supposedly to guard you, but you now understand they are guarding you from yourself. When you practice the flute, a priest sits nearby, ostensibly to appreciate the music, but his eyes track your every move. You are living inside a 24-hour surveillance state, a divine panopticon where the guards are also your worshippers. It's as if your every moment is being recorded by 1,000 invisible cameras, with the priests as producers, reviewing the daily footage to ensure their star actor never breaks character. The true purpose of your lessons becomes crushingly clear. One day, your music tutor, a patient, elderly priest, teaches you a new melody. It is the most beautiful and complex piece you have yet learned, full of long, sorrowful notes that seem to speak of longing and farewell. When you finally play it through without error, he nods, a rare flicker of approval in his ancient eyes. Excellent. My lord, he says, that is the melody for the ascent, the one you will play as you climb the steps of the temple during the feast of Toxcatl. Each note must be perfect. It is the last earthly sound the people will hear from you. It must be a sound of beauty and acceptance. He says it with the casual air of a director giving a stage note. He might as well have been telling you to stand a little to the left. The blood drains from your face. This flute, this beautiful instrument that has become your only solace, your only form of expression, is not a gift. It is a tool. It is the soundtrack to your own execution. Every lesson, every hour of practice has been a rehearsal for your final performance. You are not a musician. You are the condemned man being forced to compose his own funeral dirge. Your tutors are not teachers. They are stage managers for a one-act play where the lead character doesn't get a curtain call. The weight of your isolation presses in. You are surrounded by people day and night, yet you are utterly, profoundly alone. The one thing you crave more than anything, a simple, honest conversation, is the one thing that is forbidden. One evening, you try to breach the wall. A young female servant is arranging flowers in a vase. You recognize the style of the pottery. That is a beautiful vase, you say, your voice soft. The black-on-red style is from the artisans of Cholula, is it not? The girl flinches as if you had shouted. She drops the flowers and falls to her knees, trembling, her eyes fixed on the floor. Forgive me, my lord. I am not worthy to speak of such things. I am dust. Forgive my clumsiness. You want to tell her to stand up. You want to say, I used to work with stone and clay. I am just like you. But you cannot. The role you play, the costume you wear, makes it impossible. To her, you are not a former artisan making an observation. You are the god Tezcatlipoca, and your idle words are terrifying pronouncements. Any attempt at connection is met with this wall of terrified piety. You are a prisoner of their reverence. One of your priest tutors, perhaps sensing your growing melancholy, decides to offer you philosophical comfort. He sits with you in the garden and speaks of the nature of Teotl. You must understand. My lord, he begins, his voice a soothing drone, that the man you once were, the artisan, is no longer the core of your being. He was a vessel, a fine and perfect vessel, but an empty one. Over this year, he is being filled with the divine essence, the Teotl of the great Tezcatlipoca. You are not a man pretending to be a god. You are a body through which a sacred force is manifesting. You are becoming a part of the cosmic rhythm. It is the greatest transcendence a mortal can achieve. He intends for this to be reassuring, to give you a sense of higher purpose, but what you hear is a confirmation of your own annihilation. You are being hollowed out, your memories, your personality, your love for your family. All of it is being systematically erased and replaced with a divine energy that has no regard for you as an individual. You are not being elevated, you are being consumed. Your family. The thought of them is a constant, dull ache. You have no way of knowing if they are well, if they are safe. You have been completely ghosted by your previous life. No messages are allowed in or out of this gilded prison. You dare to ask one of your more lenient tutors? My family. You begin, trying to keep your voice steady. Do they? Do they have what they need? The priest smiles that serene, infuriatingly placid smile. My lord, they have the greatest honor in all the empire. They have given a son to nourish the gods. They are blessed. You need not trouble your divine mind with such worldly concerns. It is a dismissal, polite and absolute. Your family has become an abstraction, a talking point in your hagiography. Their reality, their grief, their daily struggles are irrelevant. Sometimes you are paraded. You are dressed in your finest regalia and led along specific, sanctioned routes within the sacred precinct. One is called the processional way of the dead, a wide avenue that leads past the great skull rack. As you walk, playing the required melodies on your flute, nobles and priests fall to their knees. You are a living spectacle, a testament to the power of the gods and the piety of the state. But you feel like a ghost, haunting the grounds of your own mausoleum, your every step choreographed, your every note prescribed. The nights become the hardest. The luxury that once dazzled you now feels suffocating. The sweet smell of the flowers and incense is cloying, inescapable. You lie awake on your jaguar pelts, the gold on your ankles feeling heavy as chains. You stare into the black, polished surface of your obsidian mirror. You no longer see a stranger, and you no longer see a god. You see a prisoner with haunted eyes, who finally understands the beautiful, intricate, and inescapable design of his cage. The shadows are no longer just shadows. They are the bars. The 10th month of your strange, suspended existence arrives. The world outside your gilded cage is turning towards the dry season, but in your perpetually tended gardens, the flowers bloom with an unnatural persistence. Your melancholy, a quiet but constant companion, has not gone unnoticed by your handlers. A vessel for a god must be kept placid, its spirit untroubled. A sad or rebellious god is a flaw in the cosmic machinery. And so, the priest decided it's time for the next, and perhaps cruelest phase of your journey. The high priest who first selected you appears in your chambers. He informs you that Tezcatlipoca is a god of life, of virile power, a lord among the goddesses. It is not fitting for his living image to dwell in solitude. You are to be given companions to share the final portion of your year. What follows feels like the most surreal and high-stakes reality dating show in history. 4 young women are brought before you. They are, without exception, beautiful. Like you, they are chosen for their physical perfection. They are daughters of the nobility, raised from birth to be graceful, poised, and obedient. They are dressed in immaculate white cotton dresses, their long black hair intricately braided with flowers and ribbons. They kneel before you, heads bowed, radiating a mixture of terror and profound reverence. You are to be their husband, their lord, for the next 20 days. There are no rose ceremonies here. The selection has already been made. A priest presents them to you one by one. Their birth names are not spoken. They, like you, have shed their former identities to become part of this grand, divine play. They are now living symbols. This, the priest announces, his voice echoing slightly in the chamber, is Xochiquetzal, the flower plume. She is the goddess of beauty, love, and earthly pleasure. She will bring you joy. The young woman designated as Xochiquetzal looks up, and she offers you a dazzling, practiced smile. She is breathtakingly lovely, her movements fluid and captivating. This is Xilunin, the young maize. She is the goddess of sustenance and tender growth. She will bring you nourishment. The one named Zilonin has a gentle, serene face. Her gaze is soft and nurturing. This is Atlatonin, the mother of waters. She is a goddess of the coast, a protector. She will bring you comfort. Atlatonin appears steady and calm, her presence reassuring like a deep, quiet pool. And this is Huixtosihuatl, the salt woman. She is the goddess of salt and salty water, a provider of essential things. She will provide for all your needs. This woman has a dignified, serious air about her, her eyes sharp and intelligent. 4 goddesses given to you as companions. Your life, which was already a performance, has just acquired a full supporting cast. You are now the lead in the most elaborate, well-rehearsed ensemble piece of method acting the world has ever known. Their role begins immediately. They are to be your wives. They move into your chambers, and from that moment on, they are the ones who attend to you. They serve your food, they prepare your bath, they light your incense, they sing you songs of the gods. They call you husband and my lord. Their devotion is flawless, their anticipation of your needs absolute. If you look thoughtful, Atlatonin will ask if you require comfort. If you seem bored, Xochiquetzal will offer to dance for you. It is the ultimate form of customer service, a concierge-level experience of affection where the only payment is your final breath. In the first few days, their presence is almost unbearable. You are so starved for genuine human contact that this perfect, scripted imitation of it feels like a cruel joke. They laugh, but their laughter sounds rehearsed. They touch your arm, but their touch feels like part of a ritual. You are living in a beautiful, hollow diorama of domestic bliss. The memory of your real wife becomes a hot coal in your chest. You remember her simple, unadorned affection, a quick smile across the room, the comfortable way she would lean against you by the hearth after a long day. It was real, unspoken, and unconditional. The constant vocalized adoration of these 4 women feels like a gaudy, painted replica of that true, simple thing. When Zilonin serves you a particularly fine dish and says, "I hope this pleases you, my husband," the word husband is a dagger that twists in your gut. It's a title you hold for them in costume only. Your true self is still married to a woman in a simple adobe house who likely weeps for you every night. You begin to watch them, searching for a crack in the performance. You look for a flicker of their true selves behind the divine masks they wear. One afternoon, you are practicing a melody on your flute, and you stumble, playing a jarring, incorrect note. For a split second, you see a flicker of genuine pity in the eyes of Atlatonin before her face smooths back into its serene, worshipful expression. The moment is so brief you wonder if you imagined it. Another time, you are walking in the garden, and you trip on an uneven stone. Xochiquetzal, the goddess of grace, rushes to your side, her hand steadying your arm. "Be careful, my lord," she whispers. And for an instant, her grip feels not like that of a performer, but like the instinctive, panicked grip of a person afraid you might actually get hurt. In that fleeting moment, she is not Xochiquetzal, the goddess. She is a young woman from a noble house who is terrified that the sacred vessel in her care might get damaged before its designated delivery date. These tiny cracks in the facade become your obsession. They are proof that there are real people trapped inside the roles with you. You are all prisoners in this play. This thought brings you a strange, sorrowful kind of comfort. You start to wonder about their fate. What happens to them after your 20 days are over? After you have ascended the pyramid? You ask one of your priest tutors, framing the question with the feigned indifference you have mastered. "The goddesses who have served me," you say, "they are greatly honored." What becomes of such honored women after their duty is done? The priest's answer is vague and unsettling. "Their fate is to please the gods, my lord. They have done so by pleasing you. Their future is in the hands of the divine." Historians still debate what happened to the 4 women after the sacrifice was complete. Some codices and accounts suggest they may have also been sacrificed, their role ending with yours. Others propose they were granted high status, perhaps becoming priestesses, forever honored and marked by their divine encounter, but never allowed to return to a normal life. You look at them now, laughing and talking as they weave flowers into each other's hair, and you see the terrible ambiguity of their future. Their smiles are the beautiful, brave smiles of women standing on the edge of a precipice, unsure if they are meant to fly or to fall. The 5 of you create a perfect picture. To your handlers, You are the image of a happy, divine family. You feast together in the gardens, you play your flute, and Xochiquetzal dances. Her movements a blur of white cotton and black hair. You tell the riddles you have been taught, and they laugh at all the right moments. It is beautiful. It is idyllic. And it is entirely false. You are all delivering the performance of your lives, acutely aware of the priestly audience that watches from a distance, judging, approving. One night, you lie awake on the soft jaguar pelts. The four women are asleep around you. They're breathing a soft, collective rhythm in the quiet chamber. In the pale moonlight filtering into the room, they look like statues of sleeping goddesses, their faces peaceful and perfect. You look from one to the next, from the gentle curve of Xilonin's cheek to the proud line of Huistosihuatl's jaw. They are so beautiful, and their fate so tragically intertwined with yours. A profound, overwhelming sadness washes over you. You are not their husband. You are their warden, their co-star, and their fellow prisoner. They have been brought here to soothe your final days, but their presence only sharpens the edges of your tragedy by giving you a perfect, unattainable illusion of what you have lost. You reach out, your hand hovering over Xochiquetzal's sleeping form, wanting to offer a comfort you cannot voice, to acknowledge the terrible pact that binds you all. But you pull your hand back. To touch her with genuine pity would be to break the rules. It would be to admit you are a man, and your manhood is the one thing you are no longer allowed to own. You are simply the god waiting for his cue. The final month arrives. It is the month of Toxcatl, the fifth and one of the most important months of the sacred calendar. The very air over Tenochtitlan seems to change, charged with a new and frenetic energy. The deep, rhythmic drumming from the Templo Mayor, once a background hum to your life, becomes a constant, insistent heartbeat. For nearly a year, your world has been the hushed, controlled environment of the temple complex. Now, the priests inform you that is about to change. Your seclusion is over. It is time for the god to walk among his people. This is the beginning of your farewell tour. The final series of public appearances before the show closes for good. You and your four companions are prepared like offerings yourselves. You are dressed in the most spectacular regalia yet. A cloak of pure white feathers is draped over your shoulders, symbolizing purity and sacrifice. Your body is adorned with intricate gold jewelry that glimmers in the sun. A fan of long, iridescent quetzal feathers is fixed to your back, making you seem taller, otherworldly. Your companions are dressed in equally stunning attire, each representing the colors and symbols of the goddess she portrays. The five of you are a living, breathing work of religious art. The moment you step out from the gates of the sacred precinct is a physical shock. You are hit by a wall of sound so immense it feels solid. The roar of tens of thousands of people, a sound you have not heard for months, washes over you. The entire city, it seems, has converged on the great plaza to witness your emergence. For so long as you have been a rumor, a sacred mystery hidden behind stone walls. Now you are made real. You are gently guided onto a magnificent litter, decorated with flowers and carvings, to be carried on the shoulders of 8 strong nobles. Your 4 wives are seated around you. As the procession begins to move, you get your first true look at the city in full festival. It is a city transformed. Brightly colored paper banners are strung between buildings. The canals are so thick with canoes, all laden with flowers, that you can barely see the water. The smell of cooking food, roasting meats. Sweet tamales mixes with the overwhelming, almost suffocating scent of copal incense and tens of thousands of cempasúchil, the Aztec marigolds, whose pungent, funereal scent now defines the very air you breathe. The crowd is a single, undulating organism of pure emotion. As your litter passes, a wave of motion ripples through them. People fall to their knees, pressing their foreheads to the ground. They weep openly, tears streaming down their faces. They throw flowers, creating a thick, fragrant carpet of petals on the path before you. They shout the name of Tezcatlipoca, their voices blending into a single, deafening chant. They are not cheering for you, the young man who once chipped at obsidian in a dusty workshop. They are cheering for the god you represent. They are cheering for the cosmic balance, for the rising sun, for the coming rains. They are cheering for their own survival, and your death is the price of admission. It's a strange feeling. having your public approval rating be at an all-time high precisely because everyone knows your term is about to expire in the most spectacular way possible. This is the final test of your year-long training. You must perform. You lift the clay flute to your lips. Your fingers, which once trembled at the thought of this moment, are now steady. You begin to play. The sad, beautiful melodies you practiced in the lonely silence of your chambers now float over the roar of the crowd. A hush falls over the section of the crowd nearest you as they strain to hear the divine music. You must smile, a serene, benevolent smile that suggests you are above all this earthly clamor. You must look upon them with gentle eyes, as a father looks upon his children. Historians still debate the true emotions of the common people during these festivals. Was it pure religious ecstasy, a genuine and joyful participation in the sacred drama, or was there an undercurrent of something else, pity, sorrow, even a morbid fear for the beautiful, perfect young man who had been chosen to die for their sake? Looking out at the sea of upturned faces, you see both. You see the fervent, shining eyes of the truly devout. You see the tear-streaked faces of women who look at you and perhaps think of their own sons. You see the wide, terrified eyes of children, clinging to their parents, overwhelmed by the sheer sensory overload of it all. But to you, they are all part of a single, terrifying spectacle. Their collective adoration is the loneliest feeling in the world. Part of your performance is to bestow divine gifts. Your attendants walk beside the litter, carrying baskets filled with roasted meats, fine foods, and small, valuable pieces of jewelry. You are to play the part of the generous god. You catch the eye of a stooped old woman, her face a mask of worshipful tears. You give a subtle nod in her direction. One of your attendants immediately goes to her, presenting her with a string of jade beads. The woman collapses in grateful sobs. You point to a group of ragged children, and they are given handfuls of sweet cakes. Each act of largesse prompts a fresh wave of cheers. You are giving away treasures, but it all feels like you are distributing your own inheritance, divesting yourself of the last vestiges of an earthly life. The procession winds its way through the city, towards the great market at Tlatelolco. As you travel, the route takes you near the outer districts, near the place you once called home. Your heart begins to hammer against your ribs, a wild, frantic bird beating against a cage. You instinctively scan the crowd, your eyes searching, begging, for a familiar face, for the weathered, proud face of your father, for the kind, worried eyes of your wife, for the small, dark heads of your children. You know it is a futile hope. Why would they put themselves through the agony of watching this parade seeing you like this? A decorated object on display would be a crueler fate than not seeing you at all. Still, you look a desperate final act of a love you are supposed to have forgotten. You see nothing. The anonymous faces blur into a single mass of strangers. Your four companions are flawless in their roles. They sit around you, the perfect portrait of a divine family. Xochiquetzal points out beautiful things to you with a joyous laugh. Xilonen offers you a piece of fruit, her expression one of pure devotion. They wave to the crowd. They adjust your feathered cloak. Their performance makes the entire spectacle more believable to the public, and therefore more agonizing for you. This is the grand finale of your bizarre reality show, and the ratings are through the roof. After hours under the hot sun, the procession finally winds its way back to the sacred precinct. The roar of the crowd fades behind you as you pass back through the serpent wall. The sudden silence is as deafening as the noise was. You are helped from your litter, your legs stiff and unsteady. Back in your chambers, the elaborate costume is removed. The servants are silent, their movements efficient. The adrenaline of the performance drains away, leaving a bone-deep weariness in its place. The cheers still echo in your ears. The image of the crowd is burned into your mind. You were the center of the universe today. Hundreds of thousands of people focused their entire being on you, and yet, you have never felt so profoundly, terrifyingly alone. Their celebration was a clock, and with every cheer, every thrown flower, you could hear it ticking, counting down the small number of days you have left. The festival has begun. It is for them, not for you. You are woken before the sun. The air in the chamber is cold, still carrying the deep chill of the night. There is a finality to the way the priests enter your chambers today. Their movements are precise, their faces impassive masks of stone. The drumming from the great temple, which has been the soundtrack to your final month, has changed. The rhythm is faster, more insistent, a frantic pulse that speaks not of celebration, but of climax. You know, without being told, that this is the day, the 20th day of Toxcotl, the day your contract is due, the process of your unmaking begins. For the last time, the magnificent regalia of Tezcatlipoca is removed from your body. The cloak of white feathers is lifted from your shoulders. The heavy gold and jade collar is unclasped. The bracelets are slid from your wrists and ankles. It is the reverse of the ceremony that initiated you into this life, a systematic stripping away of the god you had become. You are left standing, for a moment, as you were when you were born a simple, unadorned human. The checkout process from the Hotel of the Gods is swift and leaves no room for appeal. But you are not to be returned to your former self. You are being transitioned into your final role. They do not give you back your artisan's tilmately. Instead, they dress you in the stark, symbolic attire of the sacrifice. You are clad in paper, a simple loincloth of bark paper, and intricate, delicate ornaments of painted paper and amaquex pali are tied to your arms and chest. The paper is fragile, temporary, a symbol of the fleeting nature of life. You are no longer the glorious, living image of a god. You are now the sacred offering, the payment made manifest. Then they are brought in, your 4 wives. It is time for the final scene of your strange domestic play. They are dressed in mourning, their fine white cotton replaced with simple, dark robes. Their faces are streaked with black paint, signifying grief. According to the script, they must now renounce you, sever the ritual tie of your 20-day marriage. They weep. Their tears, whether real or rehearsed, are convincing. They speak of the honor it has been to be the brides of Tezcatlipoca. They lament your departure to the heavens. It is the end of a long-running show, the final tearful goodbyes of the cast, and everyone knows there will be no reunion special. You look at each of them, searching their faces one last time for a crack in the performance. Xochiquetzal, the vibrant one, is pale and trembling. Xilonen cannot meet your eyes. Huixtocihuatl's dignified face is a mask of stoic sorrow. It is Atlatonin, the comforting one, who breaks the script. As she performs her final bow, she presses something small, smooth, and cool into the palm of your hand, her fingers closing yours around it. It is a simple gray stone, polished by the waters of the lake. It is an utterly worthless, mundane object, and it is the most real, most human gift you have received all year. A secret acknowledgement, a final, silent goodbye from the person behind the mask. You close your hand around it, the stone a small, solid anchor in a sea of ritual and illusion. You are not allowed to respond. You are immediately led from the chamber. You do not look back. The door closes on that chapter of your life, leaving the 4 women to whatever fate awaits them. The procession to the lakeshore is a somber affair. The boisterous crowds are gone. The route through the sacred precinct is lined only with silent, black-robed priests. The air is heavy with the scent of marigolds and copal, but the mood is one of profound religious gravity. You walk with the practiced, dignified glide they have taught you, your paper ornaments rustling with every step. The small, smooth stone is a secret weight in your fist. At the edge of Lake Texcoco, a single large canoe awaits. It is painted a stark, funereal black, its prow and stern decorated not with flowers, but with carved wooden skulls. 4 grim-faced priests stand beside it, holding long paddles. There are no cheering crowds here, no festive music. There is only the gray water of the lake, the cool morning breeze, and the birds calling overhead. You are gently guided into the canoe and seated on a low stool in the center. It feels like stepping onto a one-way ferry, the kind where you've permanently misplaced your return ticket. The 4 priests take their positions and, with a powerful synchronized push, the canoe slides away from the shore and out into the open water. You turn to look back, and you see it all. Tenochtitlan, the city of your birth, the city of your captivity, laid out before you in the rising sun. The morning light strikes the peaks of the Templo Mayor, making the white and blue temple of Tlaloc gleam. You see the 3 great causeways, arteries of stone teeming with life, connecting your impossible island city to the mainland. You can see the smoke from 100,000 breakfast fires beginning to rise from the city's flat rooftops, a hazy promise of another ordinary day for the people you are about to die for. From this distance, the city looks like a jewel floating on a silver platter, beautiful and perfect. It is the last time you will ever see it. As the priests paddle with a steady, rhythmic splash and pull, the city begins to shrink. The monumental pyramids become smaller. The sounds of the waking city fade, until all you can hear is the dipping of the paddles and the cry of a distant gull. You are in a liminal space now, a silent world between the land of the living and the place of your death. Your mind, unburdened by performance for the first time in a month, is a whirlwind. A kaleidoscope of images flashes behind your eyes. Your father's concentrated frown as he inspects a piece of obsidian. The way your wife's hair would catch the light from the hearth. Your son's laughter. The face of the priest pointing his finger at you. The taste of your first bite of venison. The frustration of your first notes on the flute. The faces of the crowd, a sea of adoration. The sleeping faces of your 4 companions. The entire impossible year plays out in your memory as you glide across the water. Historians still debate the psychological state of the victim in these final hours. Was it one of blissful acceptance? Perhaps aided by narcotics given in a final meal, a way to ensure a calm and willing participant? Or was it a state of pure, adrenaline-fueled terror, masked by a veneer of ritualistic calm and years of cultural conditioning? You feel the smooth stone in your palm. You are not drugged. Your mind is painfully, terrifyingly clear. You are not blissful. You are not calm. You are simply proceeding. Your body is moving forward on a path laid out for you a year ago, and your mind can do nothing but watch. As Tenochtitlan recedes into a hazy silhouette behind you, a new shape begins to resolve itself out of the morning mist ahead. It is a small, low pyramid, standing alone on a small island near the western shore of the lake. It is not grand or imposing like the Templo Mayor. It looks ancient, weathered, and lonely. Its sides are steep and narrow. This is Tlacochcalco, the house of darts, the place of sacrifice. The journey, which felt both like an eternity and an instant, is coming to an end. The prow of the black canoe scrapes against the gravelly shore of the small island. The sound is grating, final. The priests ship their paddles, and the sudden silence is absolute. One of them steps out into the shallow water and gestures for you to emerge. You stand on the damp, marshy ground. The great city is now just a smudge on the horizon. Here, there is no crowd, no music, no celebration. There is only the lapping of the water, the sigh of the wind through the reeds, the silent judgment of the empty sky, and the squat, lonely pyramid that stands before you. Its steep, narrow staircase seems to rise directly into the heavens. This is the end of the journey. The final ascent awaits. You stand at the base of the pyramid. The 4 priests who ferried you across the lake remain by the canoe, silent sentinels to your final moments. A 5th priest, who must have been waiting here, a grim-faced officiant for this lonely ceremony, steps forward. He says nothing. He simply hands you a bundle. It is a collection of clay flutes, perhaps 5 or 6 of them, tied together with a simple cord. They are your flutes, the very instruments you have spent the better part of a year mastering. Their smooth, cool surfaces are intimately familiar to your fingertips. They represent every melody, every hour of practice, every moment of hollow, artistic solace you experienced. They are the tangible summary of your year as a god. The priest steps back, leaving you alone at the foot of the staircase. The pyramid before you is not a grand monument. It is made of reddish volcanic stone, the porous Tezontle, and its steps are steep, narrow, and worn by centuries of rain and ritual. There are perhaps just over 100 steps, but they seem to rise up into the sky at an impossible angle. This is the final, terrible stair climber workout, and the only prize at the top is the end. You take a breath. The air is still and heavy. Your heart is a frantic drum against your ribs, a wild counterpoint to the solemnity of the moment. In your right hand, your fist remains clenched around the small, smooth stone from Atlatonin. It is a secret, a small point of reality in this overwhelming ritual. In your left hand, you hold the bundle of flutes. The journey begins. You lift your bare foot and place it on the first stone step. It is cool and rough beneath your sole. You take another step, then another. You are climbing. After the third step, you pause. You untie the cord and select the first flute. You remember this one. It's the one your tutor first gave you, the one on which you produced your first clumsy, airy squawks. It represents the beginning of your education, the first stitch in the elaborate costume of your divinity. You lift it. For a moment, you hesitate. Then, with a sharp, decisive movement, you strike it against the hard edge of the stone step. The crack of the baked clay shattering is shockingly loud in the silence. It echoes over the water. The flute, an object of beauty and music just a second ago, is now a collection of terracotta-colored shards at your feet. You look at the pieces for a moment, then continue to climb, leaving the wreckage of your first lesson behind you. This is an act of erasure, a systematic deleting of your past, like shattering old photographs of a life you must now disown. You climb another dozen steps, your legs beginning to feel the strain. You pause again, your breath coming a little faster now. You select the second flute. This one is more ornate, the one you were given after you had mastered the basics. You remember playing it in the garden, the four women sitting at your feet, their faces a mask of adoration. You remember the melody, a cheerful, lilting tune that felt like a lie even as you played it. You smash this flute as well. Crack. Another memory broken and discarded. Another piece of the illusion left behind. The sun is higher now, its heat pressing down on your shoulders and the back of your neck. The reddish stone steps are beginning to warm up. You keep climbing, your pace steady. You are halfway up now, looking down. You can see the small, sharp fragments of the first two flutes glinting on the steps below. Looking up, the summit still seems impossibly far away. You pull out the third flute. You played this one during the public processions. Its notes floated over the heads of the adoring crowds, a serene soundtrack to their celebration of your death. You played it as you scanned the sea of faces, desperately searching for your family. The memory is a raw, open wound. You slam the flute against the stone with more force than necessary. It explodes into dust and splinters. Good riddance. Historians still debate the precise symbolism of breaking the flutes. Was it an act of willing renunciation by the victim? A final pious gesture of casting off worldly pleasures to prepare the soul for the gods? Or was it a more brutal symbol of the state's ultimate power? The ability to bestow a life of luxury and then force the recipient to personally, violently shatter that life piece by piece. As your arm trembles from the impact, you suspect the latter. This is not a release. It is a final psychological humiliation. You continue to climb. Your thighs burn. Sweat trickles down your temples and the small of your back. Each step is an effort. This is not a majestic ascent. It is a grueling physical ordeal. You are acutely aware of your body, its straining muscles, its pounding heart, its ragged breath. This intense physical reality grounds you, pulling you away from the dreamlike memories. You break the fourth flute, this one is small, with a high, sweet tone. Xochiquetzal had once said its music reminded her of the song of the canyon wren. The memory of her practiced smile, her beautiful, tragic face, flashes in your mind. Crack! The sound is sharper, more painful. You are now shattering not just the illusion, but the memory of the other prisoners who shared your cage. You have only one flute left. You are near the top now. The world has opened up around you. You can see the vast expanse of Lake Texcoco, shimmering under the morning sun. Far in the distance, Tenochtitlan is a hazy line on the horizon, a dream of a city. You feel detached from it all, a solitary figure suspended between the water and the sky. You are renouncing your material possessions in the most literal way imaginable. You hold the last flute in your hand. It is the one you used to play the beautiful, melancholic dirge your tutor taught you the song for the ascent. The song for this very moment. You do not play it. Its purpose was to be the soundtrack to this climb. But you have made the climb in silence, punctuated only by the sound of destruction. The final melody will not be played. Its purpose is to be broken. You are just 3 steps from the top. You take a step, and another. You are on the final step before the summit platform. You lift the last flute. You look at it. This hollow piece of clay that has been both your companion and your tormentor. You think of nothing. Your mind is blessedly, terrifyingly empty. With a simple, almost weary gesture, You tap it against the edge of the final step. It breaks cleanly in two, falling from your grasp with a soft clatter. The last note of your former life has been silenced. You take the final step onto the flat, wind-swept summit of the pyramid. You have arrived. Your legs are trembling. Your body is slick with sweat. Your lungs are burning. You are empty-handed now, except for the small, smooth stone still clutched tightly in your fist. A secret you have carried all the way to the top. Below you, the staircase is a trail of broken memories, a path of shattered terracotta dreams. Before you, on the small, square platform, is a single low-slung block of carved stone. It is convex, designed to arch the back of the person laid upon it. The sacrificial stone. It waits for you, impassive and eternal, under the vast, empty canvas of the sky. The climb is over. You stand on the summit, a small, flat square of stone at the top of the world. The wind is a living thing up here, a constant, sighing presence that whips the paper ornaments tied to your body and chills the sweat on your skin. Below you, the world sprawls out in a breathtaking panorama of water, land, and sky. But your attention is not on the view. It is on the 5 men who now stand with you on the platform. The 4 priests from the canoe, their faces grim and unreadable. And the 5th, the high priest who met you at the shore, who now assumes the role of chief officiant. There is no more ritual, no more ceremony left to perform. The time for symbolism is over. The high priest gestures with his chin toward the center of the platform, toward the convex sacrificial stone, the tekatl. You walk the last few steps of your life. Your legs are heavy, your movements strangely detached, as if you are watching someone else inhabit your body. The priests guide you to lie back upon the stone. The shock of the cold, hard volcanic rock against your hot, damp skin is absolute. It steals your breath. The stone is not flat. Its deliberate curve forces your spine to arch backwards, pushing your chest and torso upwards. Offered to the sky, it is a position of total surrender, of ultimate vulnerability. You are laid out like a feast for the god you once pretended to be. The 4 other priests immediately take their positions, one for each limb. Their hands close around your wrists and ankles. Their grip is not violent, but it is as unyielding as the stone beneath you. There is no possibility of struggle, no chance of escape. You are pinned to this altar, a human sacrifice anchored to the top of the world. Your frantic, rabbit heartbeat is a wild, silent drum against the unfeeling stone. The high priest stands over you, his shadow falling across your body. He holds his hands out, and for a moment you think he is going to pray. But then he begins a low, guttural chant, the words ancient and powerful. And as he chants, he reveals the tool for his final task. The knife, the tekatl. It is the most beautiful and most terrifying object you have ever seen. It is not some crude, primitive blade. It is a masterpiece of your own former craft, taken to its highest, most sacred form. The blade itself is a large, leaf-shaped piece of obsidian, the color of a starless midnight. You can see the impossibly fine, rippling lines along its edge from the pressure flaking used to create it, an edge sharper than anything you ever crafted. Sharper than any metal razor. You, the obsidian worker, recognize the quality of the stone, the perfection of the work. It's a flawless piece. The handle is where the true artistry lies. It is a mosaic of brilliant, sky-blue turquoise and shimmering white shell, arranged in a geometric pattern that seems to shift and pulse with an inner light. It is a tool of death, but it is also a jewel fit for the gods. The terrible irony washes over you. Your life's work was to shape this black stone. And now, the pinnacle of that same craft will unshape you. Your world, which had been a whirlwind of sensation, now narrows to a few simple things. The unyielding grip on your limbs, the cold stone beneath your back, the rhythmic, hypnotic drone of the priest's chant, the small, smooth weight of Atlatonan's secret stone, still pressed deep into the palm of your clenched fist. And the sky. Your head is arched back so far that the sky is all you can see. It is a vast, profound, and utterly indifferent canvas of blue. The sun is almost directly overhead now, a blinding, white-hot disk of pure light that makes you squint. You watch a single hawk, or perhaps an eagle, circling on the thermal winds high above, a tiny, dark speck of life floating freely in the immense emptiness. You follow its lazy circles, your mind clinging to this one. distant, living thing. There are no more memories. Your mind has ceased its frantic review of your life. The images of your wife, your children, your gilded cage, they have all faded. The terror, which had been a cold knot in your stomach, has uncoiled, leaving behind a strange, hollow clarity. You are no longer an artisan. You are no longer a god impersonator. You are no longer a son, a husband, a father. You are simply a being, a point of consciousness, pinned between the stone of the earth and the fire of the sky. Historians, and indeed philosophers, still debate what a human being experiences in the final seconds of such a ritual. Is there a moment of religious transcendence? A final glorious vision of the gods you are meant to nourish? Is there a sense of patriotic duty fulfilled? Or is it simply the stark, biological void of unconsciousness? A sudden and brutal end to the electrical storm within the brain. Lying there, you feel neither transcendence nor terror. You feel only a great, profound stillness. You are aware of the wind on your face. You are aware of the small stone in your hand. You are aware of the eagle circling in the endless blue. You are aware of your own breathing, a ragged, shallow rhythm, in, out, in, out. The priest's chant reaches its crescendo. He raises the knife high. You see it for a final, terrible instant, silhouetted against the blinding sun. The obsidian blade drinks the light, and the turquoise handle flashes with an impossible blue. The sun glints off the razor-sharp edge, a single, piercing flash of white light that seems to shoot directly into your eyes. The priest's shadow falls over you completely, eclipsing the sun. The eagle above you gives a final, piercing cry. You take one last, shuddering breath, and then there is no pain. There is no darkness. There is only a sensation of a profound and instantaneous release. A great severing, a feeling of being untethered, of a rope that held you to the stone being suddenly, cleanly cut. There is a silent, rushing feeling, not of falling, but of soaring upwards, directly into the brilliant, blinding, all-consuming white light of the sun. The world of stone and sky, of breath and fear, of memory and love, simply dissolves. There is no you to feel the cold stone anymore. The vessel that was you lies still upon the altar, its purpose fulfilled. The story of the artisan from the Obsidian District, the man who became a god for a year, has ended. What is left is ritual, and the slow, inexorable turning of the cosmic clock, which your sacrifice has just helped to reset. On the lonely summit of the pyramid, the high priest, his face a mask of solemn piety, performs his sacred duty. The heart, the vessel of your Taiolia, your divine soul essence, is held up to the sun. A steaming offering to the great god Huitzilopochtli and the pantheon you served. It is a moment of direct divine nourishment, a transfer of energy from the mortal world to the heavens. Your debt has been paid in full. Your body is not discarded. It is treated with the profound reverence due to a divine messenger, an instrument that brought the gods closer to the earth. It is carefully lifted from the stone, wrapped in a magnificent feathered cloak, the final at the posthumous finery of your station, and prepared for the journey back down the steep steps. The broken flute pieces are left where they fell, a scattered terracotta trail marking your ascent. But your form is kept whole and honored. But your story has split into two, the story of your body and the story of your soul. Your essence, your Taiolia, is now free. It is not a ghost, not a sad spirit lingering on the wind. It is a point of pure energy, a mote of light that soars from the pyramid's peak, rising with impossible speed towards the sun. As you ascend, the world of water and earth shrinks away, becoming a map, then a memory. You are drawn to the great, white-hot disk of the sun, and you find you are not alone. A host of others rushes to greet you. They are the souls of the greatest warriors, those who fell in the heat of battle, their faces turned towards the enemy, and they are the souls of others like you, those who met their end on the Tekkatel. You are all equals now. Your earthly station's irrelevant. You are the Quadeka, the eagle people, the chosen companions of the sun. This is the horrifying honor finally made real. This is your afterlife. It is not a place of peaceful rest. It is a place of eternal, joyous battle. For the next 4 years, you will be part of the sun's entourage. Every morning, you will rise with him in the east, your voice joining a great chorus of war cries and triumphant songs that help him defeat the darkness of the night. You will escort him across the sky to his zenith at high noon, a glorious, blazing procession. You have become a warrior of the sun, a tiny, vital fleck of energy ensuring that the day will dawn. And below, the world you left behind continues its rhythm. As your soul begins its first journey, your body is brought back across the lake. The black canoe glides over the water, which now reflects the fiery colors of the setting sun. Tenochtitlan, which was a hazy silhouette when you left it, is now a city of deepening shadows and flickering torchlight. The priests carry your body back through the serpent wall, back into the heart of the empire. The great festival of Toxcotl is not over. Your death was its climax, but not its conclusion. In the plazas and squares, the people are feasting. The tension of the day has broken, replaced with a cathartic celebration. They eat, they drink, they dance. Life, in all its vibrant, messy, and resilient glory, rushes back in to fill the void your sacrifice created. Historians still debate the ultimate effect of these monumental public sacrifices. Were they truly a force that unified the diverse populace of the empire in shared religious ecstasy and cosmic purpose? Or did they also serve a more brutal political function, a terrifying instrument of state control, a clear message to the subjugated peoples that the Mexica state held the ultimate power, the power of life and death, sanctioned by the gods themselves? Looking down upon the city, one might see both. You see the genuine piety in the offerings made at neighborhood shrines, and you see the fearful respect in the eyes of a tribute-paying merchant from a conquered province. The empire is a complex machine, run on faith and fear in equal measure. The sun dips below the horizon, and the stars begin to emerge in the night sky. The torches of the city glitter like a fallen constellation. In a quiet corner of the city, in a simple adobe house in an artisan's kalpuli, a family sits in darkness. They do not celebrate. They mourn. They are the small, forgotten cost of the sun's rising. But the great rhythm of the empire does not notice their silence. The great machine grinds on. The drums of the festival beat through the night. The cosmos, which was thought to be in jeopardy, is now secure. The gods are nourished. The balance is restored. Because of you, the sun will rise tomorrow. It will climb into the sky, and its warmth will touch the fields of maize, the waters of the lake, and the faces of your children. The cycle continues. Your purpose is fulfilled. And now, the world of the feathered serpent, of the obsidian blade, and the great sunlit pyramids begins to soften and fade. The sharp edges of the stone grow distant, and the roar of the ancient city dissolves into the quiet hum of your own room. The story is over, its purpose fulfilled, and it now gently releases you. Let the rhythm of the drums become the steady, quiet rhythm of your own breathing. A slow, deep breath in, filling you with the calm of the present moment, and a long, gentle breath out, letting go of the past, letting go of the day, letting go of the story. Feel the weight of your body, the simple, comfortable reality of it. Safe in your bed? Feel the gentle pull of sleep, a soft current drawing you out into a quiet, peaceful sea. There are no more steps to climb, no more duties to perform. There is only this stillness, this growing peace. The images of the story recede, like a canoe shrinking towards the horizon, leaving only the calm, shimmering water of your own quiet mind. Just the soft darkness, the gentle air, and the slow, easy rhythm of your breath, carrying you effortlessly into a deep and untroubled rest. Sleep now, let go.